Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Thundercats Ultimates Bengali, brought to us by the fine folks over at Super7 as well. It's my good buddy Evil Villain. Click the link in the description below and head on over to his Instagram and give him a follow while you're at it. I don't know, good old Overlord sent ya, but yes, Bengali, one of the better Thundercats Ultimates we have received from the fine folks over at Super7, with the exception of one thing. Oh no, we've been on a streak with QC issues with Super7 lately, and we got another one. I got two of the same hand. So this hand has the, really the incorrect hinge for holding stuff. It's the in and out hinge. While this hand has the up and down hinge. Now that's great. Only he has a pair of these. Right here. These are the correct hands. See? The pegs are the same. If we set that one aside and bring this one back, you can see that these are the same frickin' hand. Gotta tell you, I'm not impressed with Super7's quality control as of late. That kind of sucks. I haven't seen that since my Papa Emeritus 2 from Ghost. And even then, that wasn't the biggest deal because it's a hand, but it's still like, I need the rest of the hands to do stuffs. He does come with a pair of fists, though, and claws that are already on him. I mean, realistically, you could ditch those other two hands. Like, the hinges that aren't correct for holding stuff, you could straight ditch those and, like, pay no mind to them because, well, that's not how you hold stuff. Ever. Like, with the Chitara video, I had the two busted hands. I'm contemplating on just taking all the hands I'm not going to use and just trashing them, but I don't know. I feel like that's a waste. I feel like somebody could use them. That said, he does come with a infernal sort of omens. Like the umpteenth sort of omens we've had. You can see it's got that fade to that kind of orangish color because it's molten hot. Then on top of that, he does have his hammer, which is pretty cool. And he's got a piece of, I don't know, ore or something. You can put in his hand, I guess. And last but not least, he's got an alt head, which is a little bit more stoic, as opposed to this head that is kind of disgruntled. And was a bit tight to get on, but after applying some heat, it wasn't too bad. Might stand for some soap, but it doesn't have nearly as much tension as that Jaga head had. Holy crap. Speaking of tension, he does have a holster on his hip for his hammer, but it is a pain in the nuts to get that in there. So I think I'm just going to swap one of his hands out and give him the hammer in the other hand. That's what I do with my Lino. He's got like the claw shield that's empty on his hip, and then he's got the sword in his hand. That said, he also has little markings on the backs of his legs. That's new for Super7, at least to me. I don't remember them putting all the serial numbers and junk on the thighs, so that's interesting. But as far as his articulation goes, his head will look up and down a little bit. It'll rotate. The shoulders will go out to the side about this far. That far. He feels like the same body as Tigra, but I don't think he is. Similar, but not the same. I will say, his torso does not feel the greatest. But I haven't had any issues yet. Knock on wood, it stays that way. He's got a bicep twist, but it is just a floating cap, so you're not going to get much use out of that unless you spin the elbow around and move the bicep with it, which is an option. But he can bend his elbow, he can rotate at the elbow, he does have hinge swivel wrists. He's got an ab crunch that moves this far forward. Yep, that far forward. Pretty decent for one of these anyways. better than most. The Tiger got decent range in the app crunch. And this far back. There you go. You just hear that. Like, that sounds very hollow. He's got a waist twist. It's like he just doesn't feel as solid as, I don't know, some of the earlier ones. It's very weird. But he does have T-jointed hips that kick out. They kick back down. They kick forward and back. He's got a thigh cut. Single jointed knee. Which is easier said than done to move. That's as far as I can get it right now. I can go a little further than that, but there you go. Just be careful with it. Then he does have a swivel below the knee as well as a boot cut. A hinge in the foot. With the tightest rocker joint known to man. And that's your lot for good old Bengali. One of my favorite Thundercats, even though he wasn't in the 2011 series, I don't think at all. I think the only character from like this era, the old stuff, that was in the 011 series was Pumira, and she was like a double agent. I think she was working with Mumra, but don't quote me on that. Evil Villain should know, and he'll correct me, I'm sure. But either way, that is Bengali in a nutshell. He's cool. He's not the best, but he is one of my favorites aesthetically. I think the whole Bengal tiger look is really cool. And I gotta tell you, compared to the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure, that's kind of like this guy. He kicks the crap out of it, because those figures are arse to me. I had them, got rid of most of them. You want to know why? Move the app crunch around like 3-4 times, and then it'll start squeaking and wear out and get loose and be a floppy hunk of garbage. This guy was loose out of the box, so I didn't even have to do anything. It's a little bit different if it's made like crap instead of going to crap after minimal usage. You know, I kind of expect Super 7 figures to have a slightly lower standard compared to Thumb. So, with that being said, it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. Hold it! Hold it! Future Overlord here to tell my dumbass past self that you forgot a couple things, sport. A couple of big things, in fact, like this giant metal slab and this anvil. So good old Bengali can reforge the Sword of Omens. That said, it's a little short. I do say so myself. That's what she said. Not about me, by the way. But if you pose them right, you can make it work. But I can't help but feel that maybe this should be up here instead of, I don't know, at his crotch. The end of his crotch, no less. So, with that being said, now it is time that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Bengali alongside a couple other Thundercats team members. We have Pumira, because I don't think I've actually compared Pumira to the pinless Thundercats team members other than the other female member of the team, Chitara. Did that yesterday. Check that out if you haven't already. Really appreciate it if you did, along with a review of Pumira herself. So there you go. It's 2 for Tuesday. What else do you want for free? So we also have, well, I call him Bengali's cousin because they're both tigers and they look very similar to me, Tigra, who did not come with as cool of an alternate head. Bengali looks kind of pissed. Tiger is just kind of, looks like he let one go, and he knows that people don't know it's him and he's smiling about it. That's a fart joke for those of you who don't understand humor. But as you can see, they are very similar, although I will say Bengali's joints significantly tighter than Tiger is. But I don't mind Tiger's joints. They have a smoothness to them. But I do prefer my figures to be stiff and not flop about, which Tiger has a little bit of that going on, but not too much. Just getting them out of the way. So we can make way for our two regulars. The Mythic Legion's Brother Manibelith. There. And the infamous Kurt of Spawn, who I would say is about the same. He's a little taller, but not enough to be towering, just enough to mention it. So, with that being said, it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from getting 2 of the same left grip hand with my particular figure, not sure if that's a widespread issue or not, I have to say that good old Bengali here is one of the better Thundercats in the Thundercats Ultimates line, brought to us by the fine folks over at Super7. But unfortunately, much like my Chitara, I have yet to hear back from customer service, at the time I'm recording this video anyways, about getting the hand I am missing. So hopefully that gets resolved. Fingers crossed it does. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.